Hi, lovelies. So, I was trying to load the sigil manifestation spell, and it did not want it to load for the life of me. And then something tells me, listen, stop fighting with it. Don't upload it yet. And then I'm telling my I'm asking not telling I'm asking my guides, well, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be loading? I mean, yes, I have all these ideas, but I have a little specific orders that I have in mind, and then I hear the wait. So I said, okay, fine, I'm going to wait. So I am burning a little bit of Palo Santo because I want to, when I speak about this particular topic, I want for my space to be cleared. I want my mind to be as clear as possible. And it's something that did cause that I'm not going to lie about it. That did cause a little bit of a trigger from my past. And I wanted I got my answer when I asked my guides what was it that they wanted me to talk about, and I got my answer. Hence why I'm doing this video today. So I'm going to be talking about, do you have to identify yourself to others that you practice witchcraft or that you practice magic? And two, do you need to give any form of explanations? Three, how do you defend yourself against people that may target or that may tell you that what you're practicing or what you're believing is wrong? So, what was the inspiration of this video, or how was I inspired to do this video so early on? I got, I normally sleep a little late, just because I am one of those people that I I guess I like to just completely distress and get rid of anything and anything or any energy that is not my own. And then of course, I always wait for my children to go to bed before I do anything that I need to do when it comes to anything more spiritually. Okay. I got two messages last night. I would say this morning around 1 to 2 a.m. my time. And when I saw the messages, my guys were like, that's what you're going to be talking about today. And I was like, it was a trigger for a moment, and I had to think to myself how I wanted to react and how I wanted to respond. Because when I remember when I told my parents that I was interested in magic, my parents did not take that too well or too lightly. Uh, Basically, it was, they made it seem that my thoughts were leading to evil things, and that it would lead to demonic practices, or that I was bringing in negative things into the house and so forth, right? So they basically preached it to me from A through Z as to why was it that what I was interested in was so wrong. And I got these two emails. The first email was regarding to uh, Jesus was the only way to life. Jesus was the only truth. And Jesus is the only thing, the only truth thing in life. The second email was in regarding to it was in regarding to why people preach Jesus or Christ, and they went into this through this whole shebang bang of why, and all it all derived from, by the way, because I put up the video of the manifestation spell, which for me, I was like, why would that trigger anybody? One. Two, why would even a Christian will watch that kind of video? Because it says manifestation spell. So you should not even be clicking on that video in the first place. It says it as clear as day. So why are you going to click on something that, according to you, it's evil and it's derived from demonic forces? So for me, I'm like, and then you're taking your time to send me a message about it, to preach to me about whatever it is that you think is right? Huh? Okay, so again, it took me a while. I reread their statement a couple of times, and I had this option whether I should just ignore it, let it be, or respond to it. Now, if I'm going to respond to it, I have to be mindful of how I'm going to react to it. And I didn't want to react to it in a complete ignorant perspective. I wanted to where I wanted them to understand where I come from. So for the first email, the person did ended up apologizing to me, because then they understood where I was coming from when I broke it down to them the way I'm going to break it down to you today. And we both came into a common ground. They apologized. I let them know that there was no hard feelings from my end. There was no hatred. And I did thank them for their apology, and that it was very, very well appreciated. So we ended up sending each other this love and light towards the end of our back and forth conversation. The second email, the person did not even bother to respond to me, and it was for their own good. That they didn't bother to respond. I think that was the smart choice that they did. Okay, so let's go with the first one. Do you need to tell anybody or everybody, or do you need to tell anyone that you practice magic or witchcraft? The answer is no. I want you to see I want you to treat your path, your spiritual path, like if it was marriage. It is sacred. You don't go around people telling about your sex life with your partner, right? You don't walk up to strangers or even to just family and friends and be like, listen, let me tell you what I do in bed with my significant other, like, let me tell you the positions that we do and how we do it. No, right? You don't tell people what you do with your significant other behind doors. Now, there's going to be a few of you that are very open with your sexuality, and maybe some of you guys are in open relationships. But I'm pretty sure that although you may be practicing that, or you are in open relationship, or you are a person that you are completely free, I'm pretty sure that you just don't tell anybody that you love giving head to everyone that you be with, or that you love anal or whatever, right? There are certain things, I'm pretty sure you got your boundaries. I'm hoping that there is no kid watching this video right now. I hope that you are not a kid watching this video, because this is going to get a little bit of adult-ish conversation. But I'm pretty sure you don't tell everyone what you do in bed or what you do in your marriage behind closed doors or in public. There are certain things that you keep to yourself because it's sacred and it's personal to you. And I want you to treat this the same way. There's going to be people that may ask you, and it's okay for you to ask. Well, let me ask you this before I answer. Are you asking me out of pure curiosity and you have an open mind to what I may tell you? Or are you asking me because you already finding ways to judge me? And if you are coming for me to judge me, or to try to belittle me, or to tell me that what I'm practicing is wrong, I will advise and suggest for you to save your energy. You are in your right to say that. Of course, it always goes down. It always leads to how you say it and how you express it. So if you let it be known, are you asking me because you were curious and you're an open-minded person, or are you asking me to judge me later, or you already building up ways of how you're gonna judge me or condemn me based on what you may believe? And if they become hesitant, or if they automatically just give you that attitude, this is a time where this is not a conversation we need to have. This is where boundaries needs to be practiced. This is where boundaries come into play. This is where you have to put your foot down. This is where you have to learn when you can discuss it and when you can't. And it's not that when you can and you can't, it's when you should and when you shouldn't. Because not everyone is going to ask you with the right intentions. So just keep that in mind. So let's talk about, do you need to give explanations? Just like I said earlier, you don't tell everyone about what you do in your relationship and how you do it, right? So if you even if you want to tell somebody or anybody that you practice, well, guess what? You have to, you can leave it as vague as you want. If they ask you, well, what do you practice it? Do you do? Some usually people start with the ignorant stuff. Oh, do you do curses, or, do you do any? Oh, so you do like evil stuff or voodoo stuff and whatever. You do not have to entertain that. You can laugh that off and be like, what? Okay, you're not the one that I need to have this conversation with. And to answer your question, I don't even think you need to know. Or you can just let them know, I practice love and light. Or I practice healing. You can even tell them that. If especially for those that feel the need that you do need to explain yourself. When the truth is, you don't, by the way. But if you are one of those people that feel the need to explain yourself, I practice love and light. I practice self-acceptance, or I practice self-love, or I'm practicing right now self-healing. And then let that ride out. Don't entertain anything more, especially when the person may come at you in a way of judgmental. Now, what if you are dating someone and they don't know that you practice? And this part is very, very important. It's very important that when you are walking into a relationship, one of the things that could be a make or break with many people, right? Leaving politics, leaving politics out of the equation, because some people take politics very, very serious. Just like there's people out there that take sports very seriously. So other than those two, you're always welcome to let them know, listen, there is something about me that you need to know, and is, I am not a Christian. Are you okay with that? You don't have to be like, I practice witchcraft, or I'm a witch, or I'm Wiccan, or I'm pagan, or I am a herb witch, or I'm a kitchen witch, or no. Hey, I'm not Christian. Are you okay with that? And if they ask you, well, what do you mean you're not Christian? Then you can be like, just like I told you earlier, I am right now. I am practicing self love, spiritually self love, or self healing, or whatever. Are you okay with the fact that I am not Christian? If they say no, then you already know that your relationship is not going to work out with this person. If they say they're okay with it, then you can go ahead and continue and proceed. I understand that there is going to be some people or some men or women, or even if you are within the same sex, that you like this person so much that you are so afraid to tell them who and what you are. This is the time that you need to practice boundaries, that you need to learn to accept who you are. Because that means that if you are lurking behind shadows, if you are afraid of what people think of you, and you are afraid of how people view you, then you personally are not strong enough. And that is okay, because I've been there. And you will get to the point that I am right now to this day, where you're going to be like, I don't care what you think. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you view me. I don't care if you tell me I'm the devil's child. I don't care what you think. I'm happy regardless. And it's going to get to the point where in relationships, it's whether you accept me or you don't. And there are some people that are afraid to come out there and let it be known who they are, because they themselves have not fully accepted themselves yet, or they are unsure, and that it's okay to be unsure. So if you are a person to be unsure of where you at, if you're not sure that this is the path that you need to walk, or that you really want to walk because maybe you're still confused, then it's okay that you don't have to say anything because you're not sure. Now, this goes for those that are for sure know that this is the path that they're walking. You may like this person, but if the only way that you will find happiness in a relationship is for them to accept you fully for who you are. I've been with my husband for 16 years. And from day one, I've let him know what I do. Now, mind you, I've known my husband since I've been 11, because his sister is practically my best friend. And when I got with him, I was 18, going to be 19. And I let him know, there's something I need you to know. I practice magic. I'm a witch. Are you okay with that? If you cannot accept that from me, then this is our end. You go on your way and I go on my way. And he was like, let's discuss about it. What do you do? What is it about it? We sat down and we had this whole discussion about what I did and how I practice it and what I do. And he understood it, he accepted it, and he says, that doesn't change you who you are. You're still Norma. You're still you. And that's what I love about you. So the simple fact that you practice this, it doesn't bother me. I respect that. The only thing I ask for is just let me know in advance if you are doing some form of practice, so that I can give you your space, so that you do what you need to do. And it's been like that since then. I even sat down with his mother and I let her know This is what I do. Can you accept me as your daughter in law? She said, baby, if that's the path that you want to walk, that is on you. My husband and my mother in law, everybody in his family are Christians. And they love me and accept me just the way I am. Them knowing what I do. My sister in law walks to my home, and her being Christian will be like, wait, hi, spirits. I hope it's okay for me to walk in here. Hi, blessings. And that makes me feel good. The atmosphere changes to a happy atmosphere. And I know that for some of you, guys could be like, what? But she does that. She'll walk into my home and she announces herself that she's here. She says hi. She's asking for permission to walk into their space, because my home is not just my home. It's the home of my spirituality. It's who and what I am and what I represent. And for me, when she does that, I love her to bits and pieces. But it's one of those things. And we're talking about my sister-in-law, the one that basically has been my best friend since I've been 11. And I love her for that. But it's the same way when, if there was to be a practice in their home in regarding to the Bible, like Bible study and stuff like that. I respect that. And it may not be something that I don't practice or don't care to practice, but I respect it. And I'll listen to it and we talk about it and so forth. So if that's not how your relationship is, baby, listen, I understand you may like this person a lot, but that is not gonna end up to anything good, because it's gonna make you it's gonna make you revert yourself into hiding to what you do, to where then you will have to lie to your partner, or that you're gonna conform their ways to make them happy while you're sacrificing your happiness. And for me, it's not worth it. So hopefully that answers your question. Now, I was hoping not to have this super long video, but as always, listen, I'm over it. Let's talk about, how do you defend yourself to those that judge? I want you to think of it this way. Other than, right, marriage situation, you started with some form of religion that your heart was telling you was not happy with, you was not conform. It did not make you feel complete. Your mind was like, listen, this is not it. This is not, this is not making me happy. This is not making me feel at peace. Okay, we're gonna have to go elsewhere. Then your mind is like, you know what? Little by little, or lately, I have been looking into this, or I've been doing that, or I've been reading more of this, and that is leading me into more of a spiritual path. A spiritual path does not mean that you practice magic. Not every spiritual person practices magic, by the way. So I want you to keep that in mind. But let's say you're leading more towards a spiritual path, or you're leading more towards crystals, or you're leading more towards divination, or somewhere in your heart it tells you you need to deal with your ancestors. I need you to, something tells you that you need to work with your ancestors, or something tells you that you need to do gardening, and you find your peace at gardening, or you find your peace dealing with your ancestors, But you find your peace just sitting there and meditating, not conforming to what a Bible says. And then your heart starts beating different. You start feeling joy again. You start being happy. You start seeing the little small things that you did not notice before that now is beautiful. Now you feel happy, joyous. You feel at peace. So now you're starting to feel that these little bits and pieces is starting to complete you. Your mind is now following your heart, and your heart is following your mind. Your mind was telling you, this is not it. So now you have to look elsewhere to what's making you happy, and then your heart is telling you that this resonates with me. This is feeling really good. This is feeling great. This is making you happy and it's changing your perspective. But then all that feeling goes back to your mind. So it's a circle, right? It's your mind and your heart. You're happy, you're complete, you're full. You feel this joy. And when you do your meditation or you do a little bit of practice, it just brings you so much joy, so much excitement. You look forward to these things. So if anybody tells you that Jesus is the way, Christ is the way, you need Jesus, you need the Bible, you need this, or even from someone that practiced it on a cult and tells you that the way you're practicing and how you're practicing or why you're practicing that way is wrong, how dare they question your heart? That's like someone telling you that they love their spouse and they tell you how their spouse makes them feel. And that's like you telling them, well, you're wrong. How can you feel that way towards your husband? Those feelings that you feel, that is the way that you should feel towards your neighbor, not your husband. That's completely wrong. How can someone tell you that the way your heart feels is wrong? You are in your right to feel happiness, joy, to feel complete, to feel that you belong somewhere. You are in your right to be at peace. You are in your right to feel love. So if there's anybody out there that is going to judge you for you, quote, quote, being wrong for what you're doing, then you explain it to them explain it to them that way. How dare you tell me that what my heart is telling me is wrong? That what brings me happiness is joy is wrong. Just because you found happiness and you found joy and you found peace with Jesus or Christ does not mean that that is where my happiness, my joy, and my peace is at. Because your peace can be my torment. That's like, and you let them know, that's like me telling you that your love for your spouse or your love for your kids is wrong. That's not how you should feel towards them. That's not the way you should feel towards your loved ones. You don't like it, right? If I tell you that the way you feel and how they make you feel is wrong, because that's your heart. And if they tell you that's the devil speaking, my heart is not the devil. My heart has nothing to do with your belief about what you think the devil is. I am entitled to be happy. I am entitled to have peace. Jesus or Christ is your peace. My path and what I chose to do is my peace. So if you feel that what I love in my heart is wrong, then I can say the same thing about you. Then you are following your heart, and your heart is leading you wrongfully. So who are you to judge what my heart is telling me that is right, that it feels right? And I want you to think it that way, so that when anybody, sorry, I said everybody, so that when anybody comes to you in that way, in perspective, that is one way that you can put it at. It's your heart that you're following. And that is my message from me to you. Follow your heart. Follow what feels right. Follow what makes you feel happy. Follow what makes you breathe. Follow what makes you feel free. Because that's where your path is at. That is where you belong. That is how you're going to find your purpose in life. That is how you're going to find you. Do not let anybody else tell you otherwise. So I hope that this message is well received. And if it's not, and if it does offend any of you guys out there, because maybe you are one of those people that are going to sit there and judge me or anybody that watches this video later, I don't care. I will still say love, peace, and blessings. I hope that you find your happiness, and I hope that you finding your happiness is not going out there judging other people, because that lets me know, buddy, you are miserable at where you at, to where you feel the need to try to make everybody else feel shitty because you feel shitty about yourself. You're not practicing love for those that like to for those Bible believers. I want you to understand this. When you judge people like myself, and then you trying to sit there and condemn them and say that we're wrong, I want you to understand that you're not speaking out of place of love. You are speaking out of place of hate. You are not preaching the word of God. At that point, when you do that, you are speaking out of hate, not out of love. You know what you can do? May God bless you. May you find God within you. That would be so much a lot more acceptable than whatever nonsense of a statement that you're going to be, God is the only way, or God is the only truth, or God is the only path, or Jesus, or whatever it is that you want to put it. So understand that when you do things like that, that's not God's work. Nowhere near. That is not God's work. That is your hate speaking. So, again, thank you for watching this video. Peace and blessings to all of you. And I hope that this message, help some of you into maybe finding some form of shedding some form of light, some form of clarity. So, peace.